Hi, friends. This week, our grown-ups will be voting for a brand new president of the United States. I don't know who it will be, but here's a book about some of our presidents in the past. It's called This Little President, a Presidential Primer. And it was written by Joan Hollop and Daniel Rood. I wonder if you'll hear some rhymes in this book too. Let's listen. Leading our country, helping you and me, keeping all 50 states safe, happy, and free. Me, free, they rhyme. Little presidents have a great big job. This is George Washington. This little president flew flags red, white, and blue. He was our first leader when the nation was new. George Washington was the very first president of the United States of America. He was also a general in our army. Look at him riding in that boat. Isn't that neat? Boys had pigtails in those days. It's called a braid. He wasn't really old. They wore powdered wigs. Look. This little president led with wisdom and care. When the White House was built, he was the first to live there. This is President Adams. John Adams was also the first vice president. That means he's the president's special helper, the vice president. Here's President Thomas Jefferson. This little president was super duper smart. He liked buildings, inventions, books, fossils, and art. Fossils are bones that turned into stone. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. There it is. They didn't write with fountain pens back then. They used quill pens. It's a feather, and they had to dip it in ink to write. This little president was honest as could be. He kept our states united and set people free. That's President Abraham Lincoln. The flag looked a little different then. Let's count the stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 states back then. Abraham Lincoln was the tallest president and the first one to wear a beard. Wow. This little president could really horseback ride. He was a brave general with patriotic pride. Patriotic means he really loved his country. His name was President Grant. Ulysses S. Grant made Christmas a federal holiday. Wow. That's pretty cool. He knew Jesus was really important. This little president was a cowboy ranch hand. He made national parks and preserved forest land. His name was Theodore Roosevelt, but friends called him Teddy. Theodore Roosevelt inspired a candy store owner to sell toy bears called teddy bears. Theodore Roosevelt enjoyed nature. He looked at the birds and the bears and the squirrels and the butterflies and the frogs, and he said, we should turn these parks, this beautiful land, into national parks and not have houses built there. This little president told people not to fear. He gave jobs to Americans, which made them all cheer. His name was President Franklin D. Roosevelt. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was the first president in a wheelchair. He had polio and his legs didn't work well, so he rode in a wheelchair. This little president had heart, style, and grace. He sent our first astronaut into outer space. His name was President Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was the youngest president ever elected. Oh, I wonder if they really had golf clubs on the moon. I think the golf balls would float. This little president was once a movie star. He brought the world together both near and far. His name was President Reagan. President Reagan was the oldest president ever elected. When he talked to the newspaper reporters, he always had a jar of jelly beans on his desk. He was good at sharing. This little president is a family man. When others say, we can't, he declares, yes, we can. His name is Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the first African-American president of the United States of America. Wow, there are a lot more stars on our flag there. Each state has a star on the flag. There's one for Pennsylvania. That's our state. Here are all the presidents. Wow, there are a lot of presidents. Anything can happen in the USA. Hey, maybe you'll be president someday. What an exciting book. There are the stripes on our flags, 13 stripes for the 13 original colonies. What a good book. Little presidents have a big job.